presidential directives, accurate and reliable updates straight from the palace. This is Daphne Oseña-Paez, your Malacañang insider. A country where Filipinos can thrive in a secure and comfortable business environment and participating in a globally competitive economy. Yan ang layunin ng Department of Trade and Industry sa bansa. Paano nga ba ito maisa sa katuparan? We have with us today the newly appointed Department of Trade and Industry Acting Secretary, Maria Cristina Aldeguer-Roque. Good morning, Secretary Chris.
Good morning, Daphne. Thank you for having me. And good morning to all the televiewers out there. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, welcome to Malacañang Insider.
Yes, thank you.
How has it been like for you? It's been a few days as the Acting Secretary of the DTI.
Okay, I started my work actually Monday, and today is Wednesday.
Yes.
And it's been really hectic, but I'm really enjoying it because I'm really out there to do what the President has told me to do, and I'm really gonna do it aggressively and as quick as possible so that we can really give our countrymen the best service that the Department of Trade and Industry can give them.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
This is not new to you. You've been an an assistant secretary and an undersecretary for the DTI since the Marcos administration.
Yes, I started as an ASEC, and I really liked it because I started from the bottom. So I really knew what exactly was happening there, and I started with the Regional Operations Group, which is the different regions of the country, and it was quite exciting. And then when I moved to the undersecretary, they gave me the Department of MSME Development, which is quite close to my heart because that's where I started my career in entrepreneurship. And I felt that I could really share my experience and the things that I know. And then after that, I became now the Acting Secretary of the Department of Trade, which is another step higher for me, and I feel that I'm ready to take the challenge.
That's wonderful. Now, let's go back to where you started, because you mentioned it, that your heart is the heart of an entrepreneur.
Yes,
you started 30 years of experience as an entrepreneur, and you started small.
Yes, I started with 6,000 pesos, and that was all I had. But during the time, I never looked at it as a hindrance, or I never looked at starting small as something that was difficult. I felt that it was a challenge, that maybe I could do something out of this money. So this kind of mindset is also what I want to share with the MSMEs, because we have to remember a lot of the tycoons started as an MSME. Jollibee, SM, even Robinsons, and so many other out there all started as an MSME. And why did they thrive? Because they know what it is down there to get all the way up to where they are today.
That is so inspiring. And is that the goal? I know that we have a high rate of MSMEs in the country.
Yes, MSME comprises 99.5% of the business sector and 60% of the workforce. But you won't believe, 65% is women-led.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah. So, if we uplift the MSMEs, which is 99.5, then that would really uplift the economy instantaneously. That's why there's really a drive to really uplift and to level up these MSMEs as best as we can. And this is a quick way, because actually the MSMEs are really raring to go. They just need to be helped, to be mentored, and to be told what are the different programs that the Department of Trade and Industry has for them.
So what, in your opinion and in your experience, what do the small businesses need? What kind of help and assistance do they need?
Okay, we have the 5-point strategies, which is really where we're pushing for the MSME, which is number 1, the mandate of the President, which is to go digitalization, to go digital. We are a global world, and digitalization is the way to go. And we are also 7,600 islands. So how do we get our message across? How do we get to deliver the goods? How do we get to sell the goods? And how do we get information from Luzon all the way to Mindanao, except instantaneously and quickly, except through digitalization? And the fastest way to sell is also through digitalization, which now is the very popular TikTok. So all you need is just the product and yourself, and the guts to be able and the know-how to be able to do TikTok. And there are a lot of stars and a lot of people who made money in TikTok. And by doing this, we can really provide more jobs once we've uplifted this 99.5%.
You were mentioning that there was a growth in registration of small businesses, micro and small businesses during the pandemic.
Yes,
Ano yung reason kaya? Bakit lumaki lalo? And how important is that?
Yeah, actually, before the sector was lower, 90%, but now, of course, the pandemic has hit everyone globally. It's not just us. And a lot of the businesses were closed, but you'll be shocked. There were a lot also who thrived. There's also, not in a crisis, not everybody goes down. There are people who thrive. And there are some businesses like, I won't say the name of the food business, but they started with 13,500 pesos during the pandemic, and then they just sold the party trays. And after 2 years, they were being bought by a conglomerate for 200 million. And they were just selling products like kare-kare, adobong pusit, you know, the usual. So sometimes we don't have to think of something so difficult. We just have to know what our expertise and where we're good at, and that's where we'll push.
How amazing. Your conversations with the president so far, I know that he also appreciates the role of the MSME and how important it is to our economy. What have you discussed and what are his directives?
Okay, yeah, so the first one was the digitalization, which I mentioned. Number two is the diversification. We must diversify, meaning if I only sell this one product, I must also try to explore other products. As what Warren Buffett said, never rely on a single income. A second source is always the better one. Like, let's say Jollibee, they started with the hamburger. Then when they got into Chicken Joy, they didn't realize they realized that Chicken Joy was selling more than burgers, and they started to diversify, and now they're really very big because of this diversification. So like for us, let's say we're selling rice, we already have the puesto, so we can sell other things. We can sell suka, we can sell eggs, we can sell. So if one thing goes down, we still have other sources of income, which that's diversification. Number three, access to funding. Before I became secretary, I was the chairman of the Small Business Corporation, the SB Corp, which is the bank of the government. So at that time, I've made lots of changes, which before it was collateral, they needed collateral, but the MSMEs don't have collateral. So now we did PO financing. So once I get an order and I don't have the money to fund this, I go there and say, I have an order. So they can fund it. And then there's also check rediscounting. So when I get my payment and it's 30 days and I want to move to the next PO, so I need the funds, right? So that's check rediscounting. Then there's franchise funding, which in Malaysia, that's where I got the idea, because in Malaysia, they fund franchises. Because some businesses are already sunset industry. So instead of pumping in money in a sunset industry, then we can put the money that we borrow from the bank into an industry that's thriving. And you know naman, pag franchising, there's a manual and there's track record. So it's very easy to follow, and the batting average for success is very high. Actually, I spoke to Secretary Hans, because there's 37 billion pesos that remittances from the OFW, and he asked, they open a business, but what kind of business? So I said they must coordinate with the Philippine Franchising Association, which is also, we can coordinate with them, and we can give them the list of the top franchise brands or companies, so that they can choose where their money is, dun na for franchise nila. Kaya yun yung franchising. And then number 5 is the mentoring. Kailangan ng ma-mentor, kasi kuminsan, they only need, let's say, basic accounting. They only need branding. They only need how to use social media as an avenue for selling. They don't need the MBA course, or they don't need anything, because the need is urgent. So kung anong need nila, yun lang yung gagawin. And then we're also gonna be more aggressive using the digital platform. Kasi sometimes they have to go to school, or they need to enroll, they have to go to Manila, or they need to go to the big cities. So that one, we will go digital. So it's easy for them to access also master classes, then inspiring talks. Actually, we've been doing that when I was undersecretary also.
Okay. You were also a mentor. You were known to mentor a lot of...
I don't mentor,
okay.
but I choose who the mentors are. Like,
Okay.
we had TikTok. So when TikTok came to us, I said na we have to do how to use TikTok as a platform for selling. And then when they came home, they already had the different paraphernalias needed to be able to sell.
One of the priorities of the president is, of course, to ensure that there is ease of doing business in the country. What could you do as a DTI secretary to help achieve this goal?
Okay, so for that, I'll make it accessible for the consumers. So now I created a hotline, which is report to sec@dti.gov.ph.
Okay, that's an email. Yeah, so anytime.
Yeah, anytime they can email to me directly, and every day I'm going to check on them one by one. I mean, I have a group now. I set up a team. Usually matutok ako eh. So that's what we'll do on a daily basis, and then we'll forward it to the different departments.
That's great. And the government, of course, functions as in clusters and not just as individual departments, but you will be coordinating a lot with your, like you mentioned, you were already discussing with Secretary Hans, and of course, you'll also be coordinating with Secretary Go.
Yeah, Secretary Go for the international trade. I'll be working closely with his office for this.
That's amazing. So, okay, well, we still have a lot to discuss, and we want to get to know you more, Secretary Chris. And in a little while, we'll be continuing this conversation. So, prioridad ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang makalikha ng magandang business environment para sa mga micro, medium, small enterprises or MSMEs. Ano ang dapat asahan ng MSMEs sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Acting Secretary Cristina Roque? At ano ba ang 2023 to 2028 MSMEs Development Plan? We will be right back.
Ang dumaan at tagtuyot na El Nino ay krisis din. Ito'y kalamidad din.
Project Lawa natin, ang ibig sabihin niyan ay local adaptation to water access at binhi, which is breaking insufficiency through nutritious harvest for the impoverished. Yung water and food security ay nandito po sa ating risk resiliency program through cash for training and work. Ito rin ay tulong sa ating mga magsasaka, mga katutubo, mga kababaihan. Gusto nating tugunan yung epekto ng El Nino.
Tulad po sa mga magsasaka na umaasa lang po sa tubig ulan, ay meron na po tayong Project Lawa ngayon.
Thank you sa DSWD kasi nagtagumpay kami ng dahil sa Project Lawa.
Ipagpatuloy sana ng DSWD na tumulong sa tulad naming mga farmers, gardeners para tuloy-tuloy ang progress.
Bilang Pangulo, tinitiyak ko na ang pamahalaan ay hindi titigil sa pagkilos upang pagaanin ang bigat ng epekto ng El Nino sa inyong pamumuhay.
Malacañang Insider. With us is Acting Secretary Maria Cristina Aldeguer-Roque of the Department of Trade and Industry. Okay, Secretary Roque, let's go back to the figure, 99.5% MSMEs in the country. Is that normal for a country like us? How do we fare compared to other countries? We are about to be to achieve higher middle income country status next year. Is this an okay figure?
Actually, coming from the pandemic, it's really a normal figure, but of course we can get better. So we only have, the only way for us is really to go up. And with the president now and his directive, and he's really all out in helping the MSMEs, we are really on the way up.
That's great. Let's talk about also the attracting foreign investors and your role as the new DTI chief.
Okay, for the international trade, we will be really pushing aggressively and very intensively the international investors, to attract international investors. Actually, while I was, I've met a lot of I've met a lot of businessmen abroad, and they really wanted to invest in the Philippines. You know why? Because of our strong population. We are 115.6 million Filipinos, so that alone is a big buying power for these people that in international investment. So I'll be working, the BOI, the PEZA, which is all under the Department of Trade, and the other agencies will be working very closely with the Office of Secretary of Special Assistant to the President, which is SAPGO. And we have a good synergy, and we will be working strongly and together and closely with him on this one.
Great. And what are the priority industry clusters again, if you could run us through it?
The priority industry clusters there's 4 priority industry clusters, which is the industrial, manufacturing and transport, technology, media and telecommunication, health and life sciences, modern basic needs, and the resilient economy, and also the retail. There's a lot of retail also that are from abroad that want to invest in the Philippines.
Okay. What about consumer protection?
Okay, consumer protection is very important. It's an important part of the Department of Trade and Industry. Why? Because we need to protect the consumers we need to make sure that the products meet the standards that are high and that are set by the Department of Trade, so that we make sure the consumer get the products that they deserve. Because, like example, for construction, we cannot go for the substandard or the low standards, because the buildings or the structures will collapse. And then for the food, they cannot be without FDA, or they must follow the strict standards because it's something being taken in. And we will really closely monitor this, and we will regulate this aggressively.
Okay. Let's go back to your role as Secretary of DTI. This came to you, it wasn't a surprise. You've already been in the DTI. What was it like receiving the message that you would be the next acting secretary?
Yeah, actually, it was a surprise for me because, of course, Secretary Alfredo Pascual resigned. And when they gave it to me, I took it on as a challenge. And I felt that I could really contribute something, because I have a strength, which is the MSME, which is a large sector, which is a large business sector. So I felt that if we were very strong in international trade, we were very strong in tourism, and we were very strong in the MSME, then that would really uplift the country. We need a strong MSME also, because that's an instantaneous growth. If they grow by 10%, that's really a huge growth for us.
And if you get them to graduate also.
Yes, and the buying power, and then if they uplift, then that will make them expand, right? So dadami rin ng jobs na mabibigay sa kanila. So it's really, we must really put focus also on this. Aside from, of course, the international trade, the investors coming in, and also the consumer protection, we must.
So we were seeing that your role here is not just also to encourage economic development, but you'll also have a big role in social development. You mentioned the role of women in MSMEs. 60%?
Yes, 65%.
65%.
Yeah. So for the women, they're usually very passionate about getting into business. Why? Because they know the needs of the family. Like they need, example, the kids need this, they need to go to school, there's so many things that they need to pay, so many things that they need to do. So they're really more thinking of the family, and they're really more thinking that they must do something to help also the male. So together, as I said, a double income is always better than a single source. So that's why that the females now, before they just used to be housewives or what, but they realize the strength of a double or a second income.
In your opinion, what do you think are the skills or training or education that a person needs in order to be a good entrepreneur, especially now in this kind of era where it's digital, it's borderless?
Actually, if you have a passion or if you know you're good at something, I feel you should go for it, because you never know. You could be the next big thing. I mean, it happened to me, and I just felt that that was my passion, and I felt that I really needed to do this to be able to uplift my life and to be able to have a better life for myself. So sometimes I think we are given this life to live. Why don't we make the best out of this life? So let's just pursue and take the chance. Who knows? We could be the next big thing. I'm sure all of the tycoons, they also took the chance. And look where they are now. So we should take this chance.
Oh, that's inspiring. Now, your leadership style, you've raised many companies in 30 years, very successful. What's your leadership style like in the DTI?
My leadership style is, I'm very open. I like to talk to the people, and I really want to know what's happening. I really like an exchange of views. And I'm very open, but I'm quite strict also. And I'm super tutok. And I also want to get the job done, because in business, time is gold. We cannot delay, because a delay will cost us money. So I've been with that kind of mindset for 30 years, and I carry it on now. And my team, they know that that's really my style. But I'm friendly. And I'm approachable, and I'm very easy to talk to. So I want to bring that also here. And I really also like to collaborate with people, because for me, I believe in alone I can do so little, but together we can do so much.
That's great. So you're collaborative, you're
Yes,
fast,
yes,
you're passionate.
yeah, yes.
And also, you mentioned that you're super tutok and really fast. This is a very special time for the Philippines now. We saw our country from the past 2 years go into being, the darling of the international trade arena. And I could say that with confidence because we saw that.
Yes, and the president is very, he's very, how will I say that? He's really open to all of these investments, and he's really representing or selling the Philippines very well internationally. And I've talked to so many business people abroad, and they really love the president, our president.
Right.
Yeah, they really love PBBM, and they feel that it's in his presidency, it will be easy for them to be able to come in and to really do their business here.
Yeah, we're seeing that in the support and the collaboration of the private sector.
Yes.
We're also seeing that through the interest in the foreign market. The World Economic Forum president came here and did a country roundtable.
Yes, yeah.
That was pretty amazing. So this is a special time for the Philippines, and you have your vision and the special role, of course, of the MSMEs and also bringing in foreign trade investments here. How do you feel?
I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm very excited to be part of this and to be given the opportunity and the privilege and the honor to serve our country under this administration, who I really believe in, and I'm proud to be part of this administration.
That's great. Do you have any wish lists from any potential collaborator that could help you achieve your goals right now?
I would like to work with all the agencies so that we can really strengthen the needs of the people and to be able to really push the businesses. So like my first Saturday, I took my oath on Friday, and Saturday I already spoke to Secretary Hans for the migrant workers, so they can come home and be with their family, and they establish business here also. So I feel that if I can work together with them, then we can be really strong all together.
If there's a short-term goal that you would like to achieve, what would it be?
To get all these things going, as I feel that there's a need and there's an urgency, and I want to do something quickly also.
Yeah, that's great. Any message for the public and for your team and for the country?
Yeah, okay, for the public, the Department of Trade and Industry is all out to serve the people and to serve our countrymen. So please take advantage of this department, and we will do our best to be able to help you as best as we can.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a very interesting conversation, Secretary Roque.
Thank you, Daphne.
And
Thank
congratulations again, and welcome, of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a blessed day ahead. Thank you.
Patuloy na isinusulong ng Department of Trade and Industry ang paglago at pag-unlad ng kalakalan at industriya sa bansa. Makagawa ng dekalidad na trabaho, mapataas ang kita ng mga Pilipino at mapangalagaan ang kapakanan ng bawat mamimili. We bring you in-depth views of the latest issues and regular palace updates. I'm Daphne Oseña-Paez, your Malacañang Insider. Have a good day.